हेलो एंड वेलकम टू न्यूज़ क्लिक। नमस्कार, मेरा नाम परंजॉय गुहा ठाकुर था और आज मेरे साथ ये न्यूज़ क्लिक का स्टूडियो में वरिष्ठ पत्रकार कावेरी भामसाई। 32 साल इन्होंने पत्रकारिता किया, इंडिया टुडे मैगजीन में थे इससे पहले। आज वो स्वाधीन लेखक है और आज हमारी चर्चा का विषय है यस बैंक, जो आज एक बुरी स्थिति में है। सरकार सोच रहे कि आपका पैसा मेरा पैसा लेके, स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, भारतीय स्टेट बैंक, इनका पैसे लेके ये कंपनी, ये निजी बैंक, कंपनी नहीं निजी बैंक को बचाने के लिए सरकार अलग अलग कार्यक्रम कर रहे हैं। ये स्थिति में कैसे आया, इस विषय के ऊपर मैं कावेरी से पूछ रहा हूँ। कावेरी, कुछ दिन क्यों मैं बताऊं, मैं एक साल पहले हेमेंद्र हजारी से यही न्यूज़ क्लिक के लिए एक साक्षात्कार किया और उस समय उन्होंने कहा कि शेक्सपियर का जो नाटक है हैमलेट, he said it's a grim Shakesperean tragedy.
Now, it was found in Yes Bank that for 2 successive years, for I think FY16 and FY17, the bank had reported divergence. Now, this is very critical because the market valuation of the banks which are listed on the stock exchange is determined by the profits and the NPAs that they report. So, if you are suppressing that number, you are actually distorting valuation and market pricing. You are also, the senior management salary performance is all linked to these numbers. So, you are distorting senior management compensation. So, to me, it is a very big faux pas that you have been pulled up by the banking regulator for cooking your books. Okay. And in my opinion, if a bank reports it once, it is absolutely shameful. If it reports it in 2 consecutive years, the CEO, the chief financial officer, the head of the audit committee of the board and the auditor must be immediately replaced.
और उन्होंने समझाया कि परिवार के अंदर झगड़ा, और जब एक व्यक्ति का अहंकार बढ़ जाते हैं तो वो भी एक तरह जाके, आज देखिए कहाँ पहुंच गए राणा कपूर, जो एक समय 5 सितारा होटल और विश्व के बड़े बड़े जगह में घूम रहे थे, आज एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट, he is behind bars. How do you analyze this personality, Rana Kapoor?
I think I would like to look at him not just as a personality, but as a symptom of the kind of rogue billionaires we've had. मतलब ऐसे वो अकेले ही नहीं है। सहारा, सुब्रत रॉय, नीरव मोदी, रतुल पुरी, ये सब लोगों का अगर आप करियर देखेंगे, they're all,
आपने विजय माल्या का नाम,
विजय माल्या, वो तो खैर लेगेसी बिजनेसमैन है, बट फिर भी मैं इन sort of professional businessmen की बात कर रही हूँ, who've not even had a background in a business, you know. If you look at them, इनका तरीका क्या है, the way they progress. Big business तो ये हैं ही, big bureaucrats, big politicians, Bollywood. ये सब ये एक network
and
बना
you saw
लेते हैं.
Rana Kapoor's pictures
जी.
with Sharad Pawar, with Chidambaram, with Nitin Gadkari in Davos.
Yes,
in Davos.
Yes.
Yeah, there is this picture where is not only Prime Minister
Yes.
Narendra Modi, you have Naresh Goyal, you have Nirav Modi,
You have Chanda Kochhar, please don't forget.
And Rana Kapoor,
Yes.
of course.
So the thing is that you create this image of yourself where you're seen as untouchable. You know, you're seen in the company of the best and the brightest in the country. And your network is across various categories of society. So there is no way that anyone looks at you as a possibly shady character, as someone who has underhand dealings. फिर क्या करते हैं ये लोग? अब आप देखिए पेटीएम के जो फाउंडर है, उन्होंने सबसे पहली चीज़ क्या करी when he got a big payout? He bought a house in अमृता शेरगिल मार।
आपने अमृता शेरगिल मार के बात किया ना।
बिल्कुल, आप मुझे ये जो
राणा
property का
कपूर,
है
हाँ,
ना,
राणा कपूर का भी
जी,
है वहाँ पे।
बिल्कुल।
और कहाँ किसके नाम में है आप जानते हैं ना? इससे पहले थे सीजी पार यानी कि गौतम थापर,
जी,
उनका संपत्ति था अमृता शेरगिल मार्ग को। दो चार नाम और बता देता हूँ मैं आपको।
समुद्र महल की आप बात कर रहे थे, आप ही ने मुझे बताया, एंड इट्स फैसिनेटिंग, दैट बिलोंग्स टू ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया।
बिल्कुल।
एंड आप कह रहे थे कि ही इज नॉट द ओनली टेनेंट देयर इन अ वे।
वर्ली में जाइए आप देखिए, ये
बिल्कुल।
27-28 साल 27 मंजिल का मकान
जी।
है वर्ली में, जहाँ पे इन्फोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट 7 मार्च इनको छापा लगाया। ये ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया का फ्लैट है और वही बिल्डिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स में नंदन नीलेकानी, नारायण मूर्ति, नीरव मोदी, विजय माल्या, इन सबका संपत्ति है वहाँ पे।
So I think ये एक this is symptomatic of the kind of capitalism we have in this country, that you're not just in the business of building a company, you're in the business of building your image. तो आप मैगजीन भी खरीदेंगे, मैगजीन के कवर पे अपने बच्चों को भी डालेंगे, आप फिर कॉन्क्लेव्स और समिट स्पॉन्सर करेंगे, फिर आप
एक
उनमें
में तो
उनमें आप-
प्रधानमंत्री
बिल्कुल।
नरेंद्र मोदी भी बात किया,
जी।
जो इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स का जो बड़े
बिल्कुल।
बड़े कार्यक्रम थे।
While this bank was collapsing, this was also happening. So it tells you about the due diligence that's happening in this government.
ये इसके बारे में और थोड़ा बहुत हम कहेंगे, मगर 2 कदम पीछे आप चले
जी।
जाइए। ये यस बैंक 2004 में राणा कपूर और हिज ब्रदर इन लॉ, उनका नाम है अशोक कपूर, इन्होंने ये रिटेल बैंकिंग बिजनेस साथ साथ एसेट मैनेजमेंट बिजनेस में शुरू किया इन्होंने। और ये जो अशोक कपूर जी, वो आतंकवादी ने इनको जनवरी 2013 में मुंबई के ट्राइडेंट ओबेरॉय होटल में इनका हत्या हुई थी। वो उस समय वो नॉन एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन थे। वो ग्रीनलेज बैंक में कैरियर शुरू किया, ABN AMRO, रैबो बैंक। तो मतलब आज उसके बाद व्हेन द फाइट बिगैन विद इन, सचमुच वही शेक्सपियर का कहानी,
बिल्कुल।
भाई बहन, it became a ugly internecine family feud। इसके बारे में कुछ आप कहिए। ये क्या सिर्फ लालच, संपत्ति, is it all about greed that you start fighting even with your own relatives?
Yeah, but I think we've seen it in many families. The Kapoors are not alone, because as you said,
बॉलीवुड का कहानी
जी, as you said,
अंबानी परिवार में भी हमने देखा।
बिल्कुल, भाई sisters in law, they just don't get along. So we've seen this repeated in many places. But I think the point to make here is the succession management. This has always been a problem with privately owned and individually owned companies. And companies that have done that properly, we saw that Infosys was nearly going the same way when Mr. Narayan Murthy decided to keep his son as his executive assistant, and there were murmurs that perhaps this was going to become a family-run company.
So look at the fight between Ratan Tata and Cyrus Mistry.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I think where there is no proper succession management or there is no proper governance by the board. Now, in the case of Infosys, they stepped in and they, sort of raised the alarm and said this cannot happen. And they prevented what was possibly
could have been
again one of those cases where
कभी एक चीज आप देखिए, ये जो अमाउंट्स है इसमें कुछ विवाद है। इन्फोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट कह रहे हैं कि कम से कम 20,000 करोड़ इसकी NPAs, नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट, मतलब आपने लोन दिया, आपको आपका कर्जा एक तरह से वापस नहीं किया, आपका पैसा वापस नहीं आया। और ये किसका पैसा है? आम आदमी का पैसा है। हाँ, द सब्सक्राइबर्स मनी। और आप देखिए कैसे और पूरा जो बैंक का जो एक्सपोजर था 2 लाख करोड़ से भी ज़्यादा, 2.25 लाख करोड़। और भी लोग कहते हैं कि इससे भी ज़्यादा हो सकता है NPAs। मगर कंपनीज देखिए आप, इसमें अनिल धीरूभाई अंबानी ग्रुप की कंपनीज है, इसके जो दीवान हाउसिंग फाइनेंस DHFL ग्रुप है, वाधवन परिवार के हैं, जी ग्रुप है, जी ग्रुप के हेड है सुभाष चंद्रा, जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राज्यसभा के सांसद है। आप एक जो नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल कंपनी जो डूब गया, ILNFS, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर लीजिंग एंड फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज, और भी बहुत सारे कंपनीज को यस बैंक ने लोन्स दिया, और इसमें कॉक्स एंड किंग्स है, इंडिया बुल्स ग्रुप है, और एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट क्या आरोप लगा रहा है कि आप पैसा दीजिए इन लोग को, और वही पैसा घूम फिर के या
वापस
एक
आपको
कंपनी से दूसरी कंपनी से तीसरी कंपनी से कहीं परिवार के कंपनीज के वापस आ जाता है. दे हैव आइडेंटिफाइड, द ED हैज आइडेंटिफाइड इन कोर्ट आई थिंक मोर देन 70 सच कंपनीज, आई थिंक 78 सच कंपनीज. तो आप इसके बारे में आप क्या सकते हैं? एक तरह से एक पैटर्न हम देख रहे हैं ना.
एंड पैटर्न ये है दैट यू क्रिएट पीपल लाइक यू, जैसे PLUs कहते हैं ना, यहाँ CLUs है, कंपनीज लाइक अस, कॉर्पोरेट्स लाइक अस, and all these corporates become indebted to you. So you're buying silence in a way. You're creating a sort of pact of silence around you. Because DHFL is going down the tubes, their promoters are busy partying with the best and brightest in Bollywood.
और सबसे दुख का बात है कि ये सरकार को मालूम था. आप देखिए 31 जनवरी 2019 में यस बैंक का बोर्ड बोला कि राणा कपूर को और extend this term.
जी.
मगर भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक said no.
Let's not do that.
He was literally told to go.
Yeah.
और देखिए उस समय भी वो जाने के लिए तैयार नहीं थे. और उससे पहले क्या हुआ था? आप देखिए भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक जो है ये बैंकिंग सेक्टर का रेगुलेटर है. इनका काम है नियंत्रण करना. फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2016 भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक जो कह रहे हैं और यस बैंक जो कह रहे हैं, इसमें 5 गुना से ज्यादा इसका फर्क आ रहा है. उसका डाइवर्जेंस 2000 FY16 में 4177 करोड़, FY17 में 6355 करोड़. और आपका जो मुनाफा है, जो प्रॉफिट्स आप दिखा रहे हैं, बढ़ा के दिखा रहे हैं, ये भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक कह रहे हैं. तो आप 2 साल लगातार जाने दिया आपने एकदम. आप और कहीं देख रहे थे अशोक चावला जी जो फाइनेंस सेक्रेटरी थे, वो
आपके नॉन एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन थे.
और देखिए OP भट्ट जी जो भारतीय स्टेट बैंक का चेयरमैन था, उन्होंने रिकमेंड किया. ही वाज ऑन द बोर्ड टू रिकमेंड अ न्यू CEO, बट ही इज आल्सो ऑन द बोर्ड ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड चार्टर्ड बैंक, एंड दे आर कंपीटिंग विद ईच अदर. एंड तो बात है कि ये जो नॉमिनेशंस एंड रेम्यूनरेशंस कमिटीज़ होते हैं, ऑडिट कमिटीज़ होते हैं बैंक में, उत्तम प्रकाश अग्रवाल, रेप्यूटेड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, मुंबई का, उनका वो शिवसेना का नज़दीक है. वो ही स्टूड एज अ कैंडिडेट ऑफ द शिवसेना फ्रॉम द बोरीवली कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी. मगर ऐसे भी लोग थे उसमें जो इस्तीफा दे दिया. और एक उदाहरण है मिस्टर चंद्रशेखर. ही वाज फॉर्मर सेक्रेटरी टेलीकॉम विद नेस्कॉम, और उन इस्तीफा देने के समय उन्होंने कागज में लिख के दिया. तो why do you think the government and the Reserve Bank of India took such a long time in acting? Everything was known, the writing was on the wall. सबको मालूम था किस तरह से ये बैंक चल रहे या नहीं चल रहे.
But I think this is not alone, ना, because अगर वो ये इसको देखेंगे तो मतलब where will they stop? फिर उनको अडैग के अकाउंट्स भी देखने पड़ेंगे, उनको फिर DHFL पे भी एक्शन लेना पड़ेगा, रतुल पुरी पे भी एक्शन, मतलब there is no end to it.
और देखिए इसमें राजनीति भी आ गया.
बिल्कुल.
आप देखिए किस तरह से
भी आ गए.
नहीं, वो जो मकबूल फिदा हुसैन जी का जो पेंटिंग्स है, राजीव गांधी का पेंटिंग,
राजीव गांधी की पेंटिंग है. प्रियंका गांधी ऑक्शन करती हैं.
2 करोड़ रुपया में प्रियंका वाड्रा ये लिया. मिलिंद देवरा का चिट्ठी है और एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट कह रहे ये कांग्रेस का संपत्ति है. प्रियंका कह रहे ये मेरा व्यक्तिगत संपत्ति है, मेरा आयकर का IT रिटर्न्स में लिखा हुआ है, और ये 1984 में. तो मेरा कहना ये है, यू आर ट्राइंग टू गिव अ ट्विस्ट टू इट. आप कह रहे कि UPI के ज़माने में दिया. आप फिगर्स देखिए 2014 से 2019 जिस रफ्तार से इसका यस बैंक का टोटल एडवांसेस बढ़ा, आप आश्चर्य हो जाएंगे. 55,000 करोड़ से 75,000 करोड़, 1 लाख करोड़, 1,32,000 करोड़, 2 लाख करोड़, और 2019 में 2,41,000. So the company was sort of advancing money, and and the Reserve Bank itself had said your books of account are fudged.
Yeah.
You have cooked up your books of account.
Yeah. And you're advancing money to companies that are clearly not doing well. So how is this all balancing out? And I want to give you another example. Look at Naresh Goyal of Jet Airways. You have the same kind of situation there. उनको भी पता है that his company is going under. Tata's come and give him an offer. वो कहते हैं नहीं नहीं, I don't want this. I want to look at a better deal. Again, you have that same promoter's company,
absolutely.
the ego that I want to keep this company. I have built it. I will decide where it will go. This is all what we call. I mean, we began with Shakespeare. We have to end with Greek tragedy.
And
It's
no, no,
hubris.
before we come to the Greek tragedy part, at the end of the day, it's a tragedy for all of us. It's
Because
your
it's
money.
our money.
That's right. It's the
It's our
money that
money.
belongs to the people of this
Yes.
country. आप देखिए, जो भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक का जो बोर्ड नॉमिनी था, आर गांधी जी, वो डेप्यूटी गवर्नर थे भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक, वो नवंबर 18 में ये कहीं से SPGP होल्डिंग्स, अरविंद सिंह ब्राइच, साइटैक्स होल्डिंग्स, और बार बार वो उनको विश्वास कर रहे हैं कि हम पैसा ले रहा है, हम हमारा कंपनी, हमारा बैंक डूबने नहीं देंगे, पैसा ले लाएंगे. फाइनली it was found out that none of this money, and Mr. Rana Kapoor's lawyer, Mr. Manish Shinde, says no, everything was fine till Mr. Rana Kapoor was asked to leave. मेरा कहना ये है, देखिए अभी भी कुछ लोग थे, जैसे आपने हेमेंद्र हजारी की बात किया, जो न्यूज़ क्लिक में साफ साफ बताया that the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, had clearly pointed out all the fudging of the figures, the cooking of the books on account, and the grim Shakespearean tragedy. Nothing happened.
The RBI fit and proper guidelines are very clear that even in a pending investigation, that's why I emphasize the word pending, that's the word used. It does not make the candidate fit and proper.
Okay, let's talk about Vasant Gujarati, the head of the board's audit committee. Now you explain.
See,
The circumstances. He was a member of the audit committee since April 2014. He was chairman from April 2016. Why is it? I mean, do you believe that the board rather belatedly held him accountable for the 2 years, that is fiscal year 2016 and fiscal year 2017, the years where you say that the bank allegedly fudged its accounts?
Firstly, I'm not saying allegedly. It's the regulator has
the
said.
regulator has said
So
it's
it is no,
fudged.
there's no allegation here. It is proven. It is not I am allegating. So the point is, where is the accountability then? When the regulator has pointed out that the accounts are not showing a true and fair picture, who are the individuals to be held accountable?
And you believe that?
And I
Gujarati
believe
should have
that the head of the audit committee, who, all the accounts then go to him for clearance, the chief financial officer, the CEO, and the auditor, all must be held accountable, and all of them have to be sacked.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about Mr. O.P. Bhatt. He was a former chairman of the country's largest bank, the State Bank of India. He's been an independent director on the board of the Standard Chartered Bank since January 2013. And according to the disclosures made by the Standard Chartered Bank, it contributes about 7% of its income. About 7% of its income comes from India. And therefore, you think that Standard Chartered Bank and Yes Bank are competitors. And therefore, you believe it's highly unusual for Yes Bank's Nominations and Remuneration Committee, he was one of the two external candidates, should be assisting the board in the selection of the next CEO of Yes Bank, since he's in a competing bank, and you believe there's a conflict of interest, and Mr. Bhatt should not have accepted what you describe as a rather as a lucrative assignment. And you believe it's very, very strange that Mr. Bhatt should have been allowed by Standard Chartered Bank to be associated in the selection of the CEO of a rival bank. I mean, so why did all this happen? And I'm trying to figure out how this whole business took place. I mean, how did this entire episode?
See, this is my view, because according to me, one should not pick a director of a rival bank, firstly, to be on part of your panel to select your chief executive officer, your future officer, because both these banks are competing with each other in this market. Second is that you are normally, when these private sector banks look for external candidates, they normally would definitely consider some of the senior managers in the foreign banks. And Standard Chartered Bank is a fairly prominent bank, foreign bank in India. So when you shortlist your candidates, it is highly probable that one of or two of those individuals could be Standard Chartered senior managerial personnel. So how can you appoint someone who serves on their board where it is highly probable and possible that the shortlisted candidates would include, Standard Chartered Bank senior management personnel? And therefore, in my view, the Nominations and Remuneration Committee of the board should never have recommended such an individual.
Because you believe there is what is called a glaring conflict of interest.
Yes, and the individual himself should have not accepted such an assignment.
So Mr. Bhatt has done what he has in his own wisdom. We don't have his view here at this particular juncture. But after Mr. Rana Kapoor was forced, as you say, to depart on the 31st of January 2019, at the instance of the Reserve Bank of India, the two factions in the family of promoters that founded the bank continues. All, as we say, the former chairman, the head of the audit committee, a key external advisor, all left. The board of Yes Bank elevated as executive director Mr. Rajat Monga as the chief financial officer.
No, he was elevated from the post of chief financial officer where he was earlier. Then he was transferred to another post and
made
then
executive.
made executive.
Now, you don't think it should have been done because, after all, Mr. Monga, has his appointment been cleared by the Reserve Bank?
Because an executive director's post is subject to regulatory approval.
Has it been cleared?
And so far, it has not been done. Okay. So we don't know whether the RBI will do it or it's not going to do it.
Tell me about Mr. Uttam Prakash Agarwal. He's a chartered accountant come politician.
You see, when he was appointed, the Yes Bank press release spoke about his experience of a chartered accountancy profession. But it did not mention that he was also a politician. And that in the
belongs to which party?
In the last Maharashtra elections, he stood as a candidate of the Shiv Sena party for the seat in Borivali, and he lost. Now, to me, that's very critical information which should have been given to the public, because normally, especially in banks, it is not looked upon very favorably when politicians are appointed on the board.
I see.
Because you're dealing with public monies.
But
because
there's nothing barring.
There's nothing barring. I'm not saying he's done something. I'm not saying that the bank has done something illegal, mind you. I, as an analyst, am cautioned.
What is his present position at present?
At present, he must. I mean, we know that he's a politician also because he stood from the Shiv Sena political party.
He's just a board. He's just a director.
At the moment, he's a board member.
He's not the head of the.
He could become. That's what I'm saying, because he's an audit. I mean, he's a chartered accountant.
Okay. Now, you've also mentioned that on the 20th of November, the former Secretary of the Department of Telecommunications in the Ministry of Communications, Government of India, Mr. R. Chandrasekhar, who is, of course, now with the NASSCOM, or the National, it's the National Association for Software and Service Companies. He was an independent director on the board of Yes Bank, and he resigned. And he's been quoted as saying he wasn't happy with the way developments were taking place in the recent past and the way it was handled. Your comments?
You see, I've been a major critic of independent directors on most of these private sector banks, because I believe they have not been doing their jobs. They are accountable to the minority, to the shareholders, and not just to the promoters. But in this case, he was appointed very recently. He was appointed, if I'm not mistaken, sometime in early 2018. And he resigned in a couple of months after serving. And he has recorded his dissent in that letter, which is again very rare for an independent director to do. So it is very apparent that he was not at all happy with some of their practices, and therefore he decided to resign, and note it, most importantly, in his resignation letter, which I think is a very positive feature and I think speaks highly of the individual.
Okay. Your article, your 20th November 2018 article in The Wire, it begins with Hamlet, it ends with Hamlet, and you point out how the entire royal family of Denmark all died gruesome deaths. The family ended up killing each other before the Prince of Norway took over the crown. this rather grisly, gruesome analogy, how appropriate is it for this bank? And what are you suggesting? That is, in the case of, as in the ILFS kind of thing, case you want the government to actually throw out the old board completely, bring in a completely new set of people. Is that what you are recommending or suggesting? Is that?
Now, let us look at what has actually transpired, which is fact. The Reserve Bank of India has deemed it that the CEO, who's also the promoter, Mr. Rana Kapoor, is not fit and proper to continue as Chief Executive Officer. The chairman of Yes Bank has had to resign under dubious circumstances, being named in a criminal investigation. The head of the audit committee has had to resign because of the bank was fudging its books as detected by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, you're having very critical leadership in this bank, which has been, asked to go under very dubious circumstances. So what does it tell you about the way a bank is being managed? And in a bank, it's the public money who's the largest stakeholder.
And here we have a large number of people who say privatization, the private banking sector is far more efficient than public sector banks, and we have to support them, strengthen them. You are arguing to the contrary.
Exactly, because if the market had to function in theory, the board should have realized all these problems earlier and taken swift action. The board should have removed Rana Kapoor. The board should have asked the chairman of the board to step down. But none of this was done. If it had not been for the regulator and analysts like myself, shouting our voices practically in the wilderness, no action would have been taken. Mr. Rana Kapoor would have deemed fit by the board to continue with another term as well as they recommended. So in such cases, I think the RBI as a regulator has to send a very stern message to the private sector banks, which I think it is really not doing. And they should send such a stern message that everyone else will fall in line.
So, at the end of the day, I think we have to summarize what are the lessons that we need to learn. If people of this country are going to pay for the malfeasance of a few crony capitalists or oligarchs, this is terrible for the country at a time when the economy of this country is in a mess.
Yeah, when people can't find jobs, there has to be, I'm not saying that we have to return to the moralistic socialism of the 60s and 70s, but there have to be certain values that we uphold and that we maintain. And I think those values are that you cannot have, and I think someone said that, you cannot have private profits at the cost
That is Bishwajit Bhattacharya, the lawyer, senior advocate.
I think that was wonderfully
the question
said.
is, what was moral about that time or immoral today? I mean, you are privatizing
profits and you're making
the public pay for the losses.
Public. Why should that happen?
तो अब हमारा वक्त खत्म हो गया, कावेरी, थैंक यू.
बट ये कहानी नहीं खत्म होगी, ऐसे कितने अभी और निकलेंगे. That is the tragedy of Indian capitalism.
In fact, many of the other banks, private banks, IndusInd Bank, a whole lot of other banks, there seem to be a sort of a ripple effect happening. They're all in a bad shape, So the economy is in a bad shape.
Because of poor corporate governance. Everyone looking the other way.
जी. तो धन्यवाद. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
here and giving us your time. और आप देखते रहिए न्यूज़ क्लिक. समय बताएंगे कि ये यस बैंक का ये कहानी, ये एक शेक्सपियरियन, एक ट्रेजेडी कितना दूर चलेगा और कब तक ये सरकार आपका पैसा, मेरा पैसा लेके ये कंपनी, ये बैंक, ये निजी बैंक को बचाएंगे. धन्यवाद. थैंक यू. कीप वॉचिंग न्यूज़ क्लिक.